Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to continue our series on the top 3 cards for Archazia's Island. Today we're going to be covering Amethyst, and here with me today is McKenzie. She is no stranger to the Amethyst color, as she's been playing Ruby Amethyst since set 1. So she's very familiar with it. She's won several tournaments, many set championships, so I'm very excited to see what she thinks about this upcoming set. McKenzie, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for being on here. And today we're going to go over the top 3 cards for Amethyst. Obviously, it's our opinion. But what 3 cards do you think kind of stood out in this set, if any?
Yeah,
we'll start off with the first one here.
The one I'm really excited about for my actual deck is actually a song. It's a 2-cost uninkable song. I'm going to try to get you up there.
You're good.
This is my family. My favorite thing about this, it's gain 1 lore, draw a card. So it replaces itself in my hand, and I gain a lore. It does what Gathering Wisdom and Knowledge does, but with me being able to exert a character to replace and then still play something that same turn.
Sure.
I don't see this as a turn 3, right? This isn't
right.
This isn't I have a 2-cost singing at turn 3. This is end game. This is I'm in the end, I need a card, I'm at 18, I need a lore to put me at 19 with a goat on a board.
Yeah.
This is threatening at end game, right? Especially, I mean, if you end up running like the purple red with the Maui shark to bring it back and do it again. I think it's really threatening as a song. If it were an action, I wouldn't care about it. But because it's a song, I don't even care it's uninkable.
Right. I agree. It'll definitely be slotted into like a lot of the burn decks out there, like Maui Shark you saw. Even in aggro decks that want to get that extra protection, like if you're running Amethyst and Amber, you could just maybe sing with a Simba so you can protect it so you still get a lore and you draw a card out of it, so it's good in those aspects. And a lot of the cards that me and McKenzie actually are going to say and mention in this video are cards that we agreed on. So, and even before we talked about it with each other, these are the 3 cards that we both agreed on, so which is pretty cool. So we're just going to feed off of each other's top 3, which is basically these 3 cards here that you'll see. So this is my family. I definitely agree with that one. Awesome card. Gain lore, draw a card. That's what Amethyst does, right?
Replace itself in your hand, gain the lore anyways. You don't have to pay 2 for it. You can just exert.
Right. Crazy.
I love it. Do you want to do the next one?
Sure. Next card that we kind of stumbled across on is Honey Marin. She is a 2-cost, 2/2, quest for 1, and her ability says when you play this character, if an opponent has an exerted character in play, you gain a lore. So what's nice about this, again, rush, easy lore gain. On turn 4, sometimes you could drop 2 of them, and then you can gain 2 lore out of it. Yes, it's conditional, but it's a very easy card to get off with because people are going to be questing, people are going to be singing still. And she's just a nice, low risk card because she's also inkable. So 2 cost, she could slot into many decks.
Yeah. I think a big thing about this too is a lot of the 2-drops, even in like what I play, a Ruby Amethyst, right, are not meant for turn 2. I don't see this as meant for turn 2.
Sure.
This feels very much like a end game. I'm at 17. Play, bounce, play, bounce, play, right? You know, 6 ink and it's there.
Sure.
I really think this is in the same way that, you know, a Flynn or a Snake is not meant for turn 2. I still don't think we have a solid this is meant for turn 2. This feels very late game. And the fact that it's only a 2-cost means I can bounce play it a number of times, whereas like the Rose, I don't have in a deck because 3 cost is too expensive to bounce play bounce.
Yeah, a lot more accepted to play Snake in this versus Snake and White Rose, which will cost a
lot more money.
A lot more money. Cool. So 2 cards also gain lore. Last card also gains lore. You want to go with her? This
is my favorite. This is the one I'm going to put in my deck. This is the Queen. Her ability is an exert ability. She is a 4-cost inkable. She is exert to choose 3 cards from chosen opponent's discard, put them on the bottom of their deck, and then gain 3 lore. If a princess card was moved, or if any, gain 4 lore instead. Crazy.
Insane ability.
Crazy ability. I mean, her being a 4-cost 4/3 means even if she doesn't come in turn 4, she's real hard to kill no matter what as a 4/3.
Right.
I mean, doing 3 damage at once, Storm's not going to do it. You're going to need a Zeus or you're going to need a Strength, right? You need something that can take her out. You're going to be putting in so much effort to kill her if she's worked once already that you're avoiding the rest of my board. You're not paying attention to I've got 2 other rabbits on board, you know? That's crazy to me. And the fact that I can play her on 17 and now I'm threatening with just her on board.
Potentially 16 because if you put a princess to the bottom, you'll
Correct.
get 4 lore.
Correct.
What I like about this card, especially in the upcoming meta, you're going to see a lot of item decks. So item decks, especially with Sapphire Steel and Sapphire Ruby, they're going to want to play their maximum value out of their Tamatoa, the 6-drop that gets 2 items from their discard pile back to your hand. You play the queen, especially if you're on the play, and if they don't ramp, she's going to exert, put those items back to the bottom, you're going to gain 3 lore out of that.
Correct.
So it's anti-meta in a way, and also it's anti-Lilo, the Lilo Escape Artist.
Yeah.
That is the zombie Lilo.
I'm burying
the beautiful card that you get in this gift box. I'm sorry, we're going to put that back to the bottom, even though she's nice and foily. But put that back to the bottom and she can't be revived.
You can't revive her again.
Yeah, so a lot of implications in here, and I think she's perfect for any of the purple decks, maybe like as a 2 of or something like that, just to kind of close out games. So more distractions for your opponent to try to get rid of in this set. So we definitely agreed on those 3 cards. I like them a lot, and everybody who's playing Amethyst, I think you should at least consider at least the queen.
At least the queen. Yeah, at least the queen.
Cool. And then on top of like the pure top 3 cards for Amethyst, we also decided on 2 different dual ink cards. So my first card that I wanted to kind of explain here was Giant Cobra. So this is a 3-cost inkable 4/4 with Vanish, and also Quest for 1. And the ability is when you play this character, you may choose and discard a card to gain 2 lore. So because it's a dual ink, you can only play it in those 2 colors. But what's amazing about this is that specific color gains lore. That's pretty much what they want to do. They're very aggressive, and you could also pitch all the cards that are uninkable, like say you have too many Calhouns in your hand, or Docs maybe, or something that's not useful at the moment, just to get rid of it and gain 2 lore. So it's also, sometimes you may not want to play it turn 3, just the Amethyst strategy of dropping this lore late in the game when it's useful. But you could also play it on turn 3 because it could also sing Friends on the Other Side and a lot of good songs too as well. So it's a very versatile card. The 4/4 stat line is so strong, and it's my pick for best Amethyst dual ink card if I had to pick one.
Yeah, well, in this going turn 3, right, into a rabbit turn 4, you're replacing the card that you discarded to gain that 2 lore.
Right, that makes sense.
A lot more power than putting down, let's say a white rose and then a goat.
Sure.
Right, to gain that same 2 lore.
Right.
I would rather discard and then redraw, and then I have this and a rabbit still on board.
Yeah. Draw cards out of it and then play Snake a couple turns later, and then maybe on turn 6 you'll drop 2 Giant Cobras and go for game.
Yeah.
Insane.
For 4.
For 4, yeah, I know. Crazy. All right, what was your card for the dual ink?
So my dual ink favorite is also Amethyst Steel. This is Restoring the Crown. This is a 6-cost uninkable. It is an action, and it's exert all opposing characters. Whenever one of your characters banishes another character in a challenge this turn, gain 2 lore. I mean, you know how much I love B-Prep, right?
Yes.
I mean, I call it my emergency exit card.
Right.
How do I get out of this situation and win? Now.
Yeah.
This is that for Purple Steel.
Exactly.
Exert all opposing, and then every single one that I run into and banish, I gain 2 lore. Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. I mean, if you've got this deck generally, you've got a pretty wide board by turn 6.
Right.
So your pretty wide board, exert everything, even coming up against, I think this is the aggro emergency exit, right? Because if you can survive till turn 6, you exert their whole board, you kill all these little baby Lilos, Cinderellas. I mean, you just run in and smash the board.
Right.
And you might even quest out turn 6 with how fast you've been with now your Giant Cobra, or, This Is My Family's, or you've got Gathering Wisdom and Knowledge in there now.
Right. Yeah,
Super
one of
fast.
the weaknesses of like Ruby Amethyst was like that hard aggro, like the diggy digs. It's really challenging to kind of come up there, and waiting till turn 7, you might not get it there for the B prep. This is a turn earlier, and it's also great for Purple Steel because they have trouble also dealing with a wide board. You could always trade 1-for-1s, but being able to exert and then just trading across will help you catch up to that and gaining lore at the same time. I think this is the perfect card that Purple Steel is missing, especially if you're building more of like a late game Purple Steel deck. Versus like a dock that's a little bit more aggro. Maybe you're trying a whole new world, or maybe you're trying like a late game with rabbits and Zeus and stuff, so that you're playing the long game. Then you have all these 4-strength characters like goats, you have fox, you have crabs, giant cobras, and then you're just going to challenge all their little guys and just gain like 6, 8, 10 lore in one time. So that's a very scary card, especially against decks that are more mid-range. You could definitely make it to turn 6 and just close out the game. So Very, very awesome card to try out.
Insane. Yeah. And then I threw in an honorable mention because I love Ruby Amethyst, but we didn't get really great dual inks. But I included this. It's a 3-cost inkable Mother Gothel. And the reason I included it is it's whenever one of your character's challenges, you can move 1 damage counter from chosen character to chosen opposing.
Okay.
I don't think this makes it into the meta Ruby Amethyst.
Sure.
But I still think this is a really, really strong dual ink card, right?
Yeah, right.
Being able to throw that down, not turn 3 probably, but let's say turn 6, you play that, and now you've got foxes coming in to bounce, challenge, and move that lore.
Right.
The Bell is one of those that, again, I don't know that the Bell makes it into the meta, but it's still a really strong card for that deck. I think this would replace the Bell if you are doing a damage moving deck.
Right, and it's 2 damage, right?
It's
or
1
damage,
every
okay,
time they challenge, though.
Okay.
So if you have, you play at turn 6, you've got 4 or 5 characters on board, you run into all of these, let's say they've got a big Cindy out, you run 5 people into little stuff, and every time you put 1 damage because moving damage avoids that resist.
Okay.
I think that's a huge play.
Get rid of those Calhouns, get rid of the evasive cards like Diablo and Genies. Yeah, that's true. It could help you come back from just the wide board as well.
From coming back from a wide board. Or taking care of aggro, right?
Yeah, I like it. Cool. So looking at kind of the Amethyst shell as a whole, there's about 32 cards or so. How would you grade this set out of like 5 castles? That's my thing, this set. How would you grade Amethyst as in the card pool of Archazia's Island?
I think Amethyst didn't get anywhere near as much as other stuff got, but it got a lot more than like Amber did, right? So I personally would put it at like 3.5, somewhere in there. I think depending on how you're utilizing your deck, I don't think there's too many huge changes to people who have been playing Amethyst.
Yeah.
But I still think it was good enough that you're gonna change 1 or 2 cards, whereas, last set, I think I added 1 card maybe from the new anything
Genie
to my deck.
Like whatever.
Genie
else.
or Diablo. Like that was really it. I think us having some options definitely puts it higher up than last set for purple.
Right, true. I pretty much agree too, 3.5. Mostly because Amethyst, what we got in here, a lot of cards will just kind of win more cards. Like they just gain you lore, they get you that extra draw. How much of it are you going to put in your deck? Who knows? That's up to deck building and your space and stuff. But Queen is definitely for like the meta. Again, like it could counter a lot of the items in there, so I think it's highly rated. And then I think Giant Cobra just gives Purple Steel a little bit more reach in the meta. And then all these other cards kind of are solid options to put in your deck depending on what it is. So I'd definitely give it like a 3.5. So definitely not like blue, but
no, not blue.
Definitely not like Amber. So sorry, Hans, from our last episode, we were crying about no support for Mufasa, but that's how Ravensburger is. Who knows? Maybe they'll change it this time or next set, or who knows? But that's definitely what it is right now for my rating. Do you have any predictions for the upcoming set meta? Like what purple decks you think are going to thrive? Do you think some decks are going to go down a notch depending on the meta and stuff? What do you think which decks are going to perform?
I really think we're going to see Purple Steel coming in harder than it has been. I mean, we have seen a lot of tournaments lately, whatever that last big tournament was, where of the top like 16, 8 were Purple Steel.
Right.
And it was insane. And you're like, what do you mean? Right. I really think we're going to see a lot more Purple Steel, but I think we're going to see a lot more of the Jafar wheel version than we have in the last couple of sets.
Yeah.
It was strong for, what was that, Ursula's? It was very strong.
Yeah.
And then we've had 2 sets here where if somebody's playing it, you're like, oh wow, you're really dedicated to your Jafar wheel. I think we're going to get a lot more movement with Jafar wheel, specifically with like the Vanish characters that we've got coming in, right? So I think Purple Steel is going to get a lot of more themey type decks.
Sure.
I do think Ruby Amethyst, I really think people that last set were struggling.
What do you think about Ruby Amethyst? Because a lot of people are, it's always like in the beginning of the set, people weren't paying attention to it, and then towards the end it got better. Do you think it'll be the same as this set? Because everyone's like, we didn't get a lot of support either, but it's still a consistent deck.
I think it's been consistent, it's going to stay consistent, but I think the problem we're going to run into is people learning how to navigate with the new cards. Because a lot of Ruby Amethyst I don't want to say it's autopilot, but it's autopilot, right? I B-prep your board, I play a Tremaine on the next thing you play. I throw down 2 castles, 3 libraries, whatever. I get out.
Right.
I think in this next set, there's going to have to be a little bit more innovation for it, right? I think you're going to see a lot of very different tech-ins. You're going to see the queen coming in for more aggro. You're going to see This Is My Family coming back in. I think the inkable count is going to adjust. I do think we're going to lose some of the Medusa. I really think Medusa probably is on her way out again.
Okay.
Just because, who's still playing Beast in Steel? Beast is dropping heavily in these Steel decks.
Yep.
So I think the threats for Medusa are dropping. I think it's still going to be a good deck. I'm still going to run it. I'm not going to not run it.
Not going to give up on it.
I'm not going to give up. I'm still going to play it. But I think a lot of Ruby Amethyst players are going to have backup decks that they play for either more casual or more competitive events. Like right now, I've got 2 backup decks built. Okay. Not that I'm getting bored. I love my deck.
One of them has Ruby in it. One of them has Amethyst in it.
Correct. That's exactly what it is. Yep.
Can't
That's
totally
exactly what it is. Can't give them up. It's hard.
Yeah.
But, I don't think it's anywhere near as scary as people think it is. I still think it is consistent, and if you can pilot it, you can top no matter what you're playing against.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Correct.
But I do think, like you said, it's going to be rough starting off first because also Sapphire got Bell, and Bell is a very aggressive tool that checks Flynn Rider on turn 2. So it's really hard to cover that. People played Moana to try to counter, but that wasn't enough because it couldn't trade. So now you have Belle in there that could sing songs. So and she could sing Storm Rage On to get rid of Flynn Rider.
Immediately turn 2.
It's going to be really interesting to kind of maneuver the deck building. Like, what do we put as a turn 2 slot for if you want to replace Flynn and all that stuff. So it's going to be exciting to try that out. And who knows, maybe we'll find out something really, really crazy in the future.
I'm dreaming of putting 2-drop Hey Hey back in, the murder chicken. I'm dreaming about it.
Yeah.
I've got foils in my deck box ready to go, but I haven't made that decision because he's not good.
Yeah.
But if the Flynn's not going to work anyways, I'd rather get a card back in my hand maybe.
Okay. That makes sense.
I'm thinking about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, McKenzie, for all your insight. Good luck in the future for all your events. It was really fun to kind of seeing what cards are going to come out there. I'm excited because I play purple as well, too.
Yep.
And do you have any shout-outs before we head out?
I don't think so. Thank you, everybody. Really
good to see you. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Menagerie Games, for letting us host this episode today. And we will all see you in the next one. Bye.